Hey guys, Rick Denham here. There's been a lot of talk lately about fishing beads for steelhead, and rightfully so. It's a great and effective technique, and there are a lot of different ways to go about doing so. I want to do a video today to show you guys the different techniques and ways to go about pegging beads. There are so many different options out there. I wanted to give you guys kind of a little overview to help those that may be unfamiliar with the technique, but also want a few varieties of ways to do it on the water. So let's get started. First off, you got to have your beads, right? I have a whole selection of my Steely beads here, and that's my preference. I really love these beads, but there are a lot of different ones out there on the market that you can get into. And with this, you have to look at the variety of pegs that are out there. You can do so many different things, from a rubber band type peg here with the heavy beads to wedgies from Bomac. You have toothpicks, trout pegs, bobber stops. Steely beads has their own, even a basting brush. So let's dig into this a little bit further and get a better understanding of the different types of pegs you can do. So let's first take a look at the heavy bands. Now, heavy bands are essentially a rubber band that's very stretchy, and if using the correct tool, and I would definitely recommend that you pick up one of these heavy band tools, you thread your bead on. Let's see here, I'll show you. You thread your bead on your tool like so. You take your rubber band, there's a little hook clip right here up at the top. Clip that through with the rubber band, and you push your bead back up and over the rubber band, and it'll lock it in. Just like so. Now, the rubber band, being stretchy as it is, will expand the width of the hole, and you pull it tight, clip off the excess on the other side. There you go. The nice thing with the heavy band as well is you can make them just like I have here and have a whole box full of beads with the rubber band halfway pegged in like I have. You create a little loop at the top of your band. You can just thread your line through, pull it a little bit more snug, trim off the excess, and your beads pegged on the line just with the rubber band here in the corner. It's a very effective way to do it and change out beads very quickly without having to clip off your hook. Great option there. Not too expensive either. So the pricing on those I think is about $4. So not bad. Now, the next we can move into is one of the rubber pegs. Now, Bomac has their version of the wedgie, is what they call it, and it is essentially a rubber peg that's tapered to the bottom end. So you will take one of these out of the package and clip it off here right down at the base, thread your bead on through the top, and as it gets down to the tapered end, it's going to get more snug to where the point you can then clip it off at the top to know that it's pegged correctly. So I have one rigged here. Now this would be on your line, but you can see how it's stopped and pegged. Now I would just trim off the excess. You're ready to go. Very simple, effective, doesn't put a lot of stress on your line. Same with the heavy band, you're not going to be damaging your line. So a great option if you choose to do so. I believe they're like $2 or so for a pack of these, and they're 24 pegs in the wedgie pack, and I don't even know how many of them. There's at least a couple dozen of the rubber bands in the heavy beads pack. Next one is kind of your main staple. A lot of guys have been doing and pegging corkies and beads for a long time with toothpicks. Now, toothpicks are probably your easiest and most cost effective. For a couple bucks, you're going to get at least 250 in a little tiny box, so you may already have a bunch laying around. They work great on the different styles of beads out there, but you have to be cautious when doing so because of the rigid surface and being a hard surface of the toothpick. When you're pegging this on your line, you can create a weak point by damaging the line just a little bit by sliding this too far in and then trying to move up and down your line. Especially on fluorocarbon leader, this can chafe and damage your line. So be careful with doing so, but I always have at least a few toothpicks if I'm in a pinch. So effective as well. Now the trout pegs. Another rubber type bead peg. Very effective. And what's nice about the trout pegs, so they come in a pack of 50. I believe it's maybe $5 for a pack. But you have to consider that not just that there are 50 in there, each peg themselves almost acts as 2 pegs. It's tapered on both ends to the middle, and in the middle is where you have the thick section. So when you're threading a bead, you'll be able to get it to the middle section and then taper it off and still reuse your bead peg. So like this case, here's a clear one through an 8mm bead. Looks good. I can still use either side for a smaller bead if I choose. So you get 2 uses out of the trout bead pegs, and you get a pack of 50. So there's a few more in this pack, and you get a little bit more uses out of it. So I've done a lot more of the trout bead pegs of late because I get more for my money, basically. Now, the last 3 options I'll dig into a little bit separately because it's kind of preference based on these, but it also has to do with the size of the beads that you're using. Now, up above here, you're going to say, what the heck is this? Well, this is a basting brush that you would use for barbecuing. Dollar store has them, grocery stores has them. Come in a couple different colors. I just grabbed the closest one I could find, being purple. But they are kind of tapered, just like our other bead pegs. Just like this. You cut near the bottom off. And the nice thing, makes a great peg. Again, being rubber, you're better off to not be causing damage to your line as these are pegged. But they work great, very cost effective given that you have close to 30 pegs I believe on that brush. So again, peg on your line, trim the excess, beads peg, very easy. And so as we start going up in size of beads, you'll make a point here. Now, given my box that I have in front of me, I have some 8mm, some 10s, some 12s, and then 14s and 16s. Now, the hole sizes will vary on beads out there, so you have to keep that in mind. Now, the nice thing is, with the heavy bands and these trout pegs and wedgies, even the basting brush, is they're all rubber. So when you get a bigger bead, you can just double up. Now, the nice thing, like I said earlier, the heavy bands kind of expand and fill the area that they're pushed into with that bead tool. Now, it may have to adjust a little bit, but you might be able to get one band to fit in one of the big beads, or you can double it up on itself and get more use to fill those bigger holes. Same thing with the wedgie. You could, with those 14 and 12mm beads, run 2 wedgies inside and get the bead pegged. Same thing with the trout pegs. I've been using double to get my big beads pegged with those, given that I also have 50 per pack. But sometimes you don't want to dual and mess with all of that, so these next 2 work great. Steely Beads has their own peg here, and what's nice about this one is you're essentially cutting your bottom piece of that at a small angle, threading your bead down it, crimping the bottom so the beads now can't slide, cut the top off just a little bit above the bead, crimp it down, and she's pegged. Now this works great, like I said, on the larger diameter hole beads, so a great option that route. But what I've decided with of late is this last one. Bomac has these great bobber stops for your line. Right? They work great. They're rubber, just like our trout bead pegs and everything else. But what's nice about these is they work on all bead sizes. You only got to put one on the line. It's basically a one and done and fish. Now there's 2 colors these come in, the black and the red. Now it may not make a big difference if you have black or the red, but I prefer to use the red because it'll blend in with all of your different bead types of colors. And so what I do here is I take my little wire loop that these come on. You thread your tag into your leader through that. You have about an inch or so on each line. Grab the rubber bag, slide it up and over that tag in the line. Then you're pegged on the line. Tie in your leader. So I'll show you right here. You got your bobber stop on the line. Tie in your hook below it. Thread your bead in through the top. Slide it up about 2 or 3 inches and you're good to go. Now this technique with the bigger holed beads or even just the small ones, it allows the bead to be freely on your main line and stops at the bumper. You can thread your bead up and over the bumper stop if you would choose to do so, but you're now pegged. Don't have to worry about any damage to your line. You can slide up and down the leader, especially on fluorocarbon. This is going to have where most weak points will be pegging beads, and this technique will get you fishing and stay fishing. You don't have to worry about it. But like I said, if you want to choose the other routes, they all work great as well. There's a couple options here. Heavy band, trout peg here, and another wedgie as well. So lots of options out there, guys. I hope this really helped kind of shed a few different ways to do so. I mean, price range all about the same. Your toothpicks are going to be your cheapest option, but once you start really looking at the rubber and different peg options, you're going to trust me, you're going to appreciate the fact of what I shared today. So hopefully this helped, guys. If you got any other questions, please feel free to ask. But good luck out on the water. Steelhead are coming. Time to get out and fish. Take care, guys. Fish on. Hey guys, thanks for watching today. Hope you really enjoyed this video and learned a lot. This is Rick Denham with Holy Moly Outdoors signing off. If you want to see more, please like and subscribe my channel and take a look at the videos playing above. Lots more information and instructional videos to come. Thanks for watching, guys. Tight lines, good luck on the water. Fish on.